A San Angelo man has been sentenced for shooting up Walmart. The Tom Green County Sheriff's Office and San Angelo Independent School District have been recognized and find out if you qualify for free money from the City Water Department. All that plus more. I'm Yantis Green, and this is Live. Have you gone out for a steak lately? Take a trip up to Miles, Texas, and select the juiciest and tastiest cuts of steaks in the state at Sklenareks. Sklenareks Smoked Meats is an award-winning smokehouse located on the main drag there in Miles at 108 South Robinson. Sklenareks Smoked Meats is open from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. weekdays and then on Saturdays from 9 to noon. It's well worth that drive. It's worth the taste. Sklenareks Smoked Meats in Miles, Texas. In the news, a San Angelo man was in court Thursday for several crimes over the past few years. Andrew Raina was one of the men in the Walmart shooting last year. In July of 22, San Angelo police sent out a nixle regarding a shots fired call at the Walmart on 29th Street, where Raina and another suspect had walked in to the jewelry department, shot a display case, and stolen some jewelry. Also in 22, Raina had stolen a truck that had a GPS tracking unit in it and was subsequently arrested for unauthorized use of a motor vehicle. Lastly, Raina was also faced an unauthorized absence from a correctional facility. While at the Men's Community Correctional Facility, Raina was transported to Shannon, where he threw hospital paperwork at a correctional employee and then ran home, where he was later arrested. In exchange for a guilty plea on those charges, Raina was sentenced to 1 year in state jail and also fined. Getting to some good news, the Tom Green County Sheriff's Office Mental Health Unit has been recognized at the Three Rivers Counseling Association Appreciation Luncheon and awarded the 2023 Friends of Counseling Award. Mental Health Sergeant Quentin Williams and Corporal Chris Roque were on hand to receive the award. In 2022, the 5 deputies in the unit responded to 1,641 mental health calls, including 189 attempted suicides and over 800 threats of suicide. Speaking of recognition, San Angelo Independent School District announced yesterday that counselors at Lone Star and Lincoln Middle Schools and over at Lakeview High School have received the Counselors Reinforcing Excellence for Students in Texas, or CREST Award, for excellence in counseling. This is the first year for Lakeview and Lincoln, and that they've received the award, and the second year in a row that Lone Star Middle School has received it. And the San Angelo Water Department needs some help in testing for lead in water lines. The city needs 400 residences for testing and will pay you $25 to allow experts to inspect your water lines. Inspectors won't even need to enter your home, and you don't have to be there in order to receive the $25. To find out if you are eligible to receive a $25 Visa gift card, go to the article on sanangelolive.com and then click on the link in the story titled Lead Inspection Eligibility Map. It'll ask you to type in your address in San Angelo. Up next, Ryan Chadrick will talk on the Central Bobcats, who signed to continue their football playing careers at the collegiate level, and we'll have an interview with the new county judge, Lane Carter.
When it comes to unique pieces you can't find anywhere else, Kano's Diamonds and Coins is your one-stop shop. With over 24 years in the diamond and coin industry, Kano's Diamonds and Coins is West Texas's choice for diamonds, jewelry, coins, silver, and gold. Owner Bill Kano stands by his work and offers free consultations, including estate jewelry. Don't just trust anyone with your valuables. Come see the staff at Kano's at 1016 West Beauregard in San Angelo.
Four San Angelo Central Bobcat football players signed with colleges to play at the next level on Wednesday night. Coaches, friends, and family all gathered in the turf room at San Angelo Stadium to celebrate these young men's hard work and dedication to the sport. Central's quarterback Tyler Hill and kicker Chase Miller signed with Angelo State University, while linebacker Darius Floyd and defensive tackle Caden Pizzola signed with Texas Wesleyan. We caught up with Tyler Hill after the signing and asked what it meant to play at Central and now Angelo State. Let's take a look.
I came in, thinking a whole lot, just kind of questioning myself, if I should stay at Grape Creek, if I continue on with the move. But man, Central community has been nothing but welcoming as far as coaches, teammates, friends. It's just nothing but welcomeness, and I'm forever thankful for that. And it means a lot to be a part of this program and to finish out all 4 years of high school at Central High School. Like you said, it just means a lot, and so
yeah. In other sports news, the Central girls basketball playoff matchups is set. The Lady Cats will travel to Fort Stockton on Monday to play the El Paso Pebble Hills Lady Spartans at 1 p.m. The Lady Spartans finished third in their district and should prove to be a tough test for the Lady Cats in the first round. Come out and support our student athletes as they pursue a state title. Also, be sure to tune in at 4 p.m. on Friday to our Cover One Hoop Show. We will have an exclusive interview with Central Girls head coach Arsenio Jeter, a preview, and our predictions for this weekend's games.
Well, welcome back. Thank you, Yantis. And I'm joined today with Tom Green County Judge Lane Carter, and I'm Joe Hyde. And we had a little news break in the county this week. The Rodeo Association has been trying to find a funding mechanism to pay for this renovation of the Coliseum, hopefully that would increase the seating and allow them to do more pyrotechnics or something. But I mean, it's been like an ongoing thing. And one of the things that your predecessor, Judge Steve Floyd, said, well, maybe the county can do it. Maybe the county can do it. So they gave him some hope. So what happened this week with the Coliseum? I guess we had some interaction with some lawyers, I guess.
So yeah, not just this week, but on the oncoming weeks up until Thursday last week. We've had multiple meetings between the city, the stock show, and the county, different stakeholders that were involved, trying to figure out the memorandum of understanding that was going to have to be in place between the county and the city.
And the reason why that would happen is because a lot of people don't know this, but the Coliseum is actually owned by the city.
Is a city-owned facility.
And so it's almost, I guess, illegal or whatever for the county to put money into an entity it doesn't own.
It's just not, I guess you can term it illegal. It's outside of our scope of government code. 381, it does not apply to that.
Okay.
Government code 381.
So in order to get around that, you were going to create a memorandum of understanding.
Well, not to get around it. So the background story of that is we had multiple meetings. We determined that the MOU needed to be in place. We got with the city. They were going to have to present a resolution to their city council. And the city council would have to accept that resolution to allow for an MOU with the county. That it never got to that point, and I'll elaborate here in a second a little bit more why. But the MOU was being drawn up. We had spoke to our bond counsel, the attorneys involved.
And when you say bond counsel, that's counsel, like counselor,
Right.
as in bond lawyer.
Yes, bond lawyers,
Right.
and to present it to them to say this is the scope of what we want to do, the scope of work, the intentions involved in it. It was the intentions were economic driver.
Economic development.
Right.
Make a bigger Coliseum.
Make a bigger Coliseum, have more events that have not been able to come through the Coliseum in the past because of space, seating. They wanted to expand it to about 9,500 seats. Tackling ADA, we have 8 ADA seats in the Coliseum now. Bringing it up to 32 seats. Items like that, bathroom space, kitchen remodels, and convention areas for it. So we drew up an MOU,
Right.
and our bond lawyers were saying that we recommend, if this is going to work, we recommend what's called a ground lease. The ground lease would give us rights to it, and it was kind of the city leasing it to us subleasing it to the Rodeo Association. Items like operating and maintenance was being discussed of who's going to take care of it. What if something detrimental happens to it? What if who's going to cover the insurance?
Right.
Who's going to get the revenue streams from it? Who's going to hold the entire indebted servitude for it, and that's where they were asking if the county can hold the bond, city give us the facility through a grounds lease and expand it.
Right.
Once it was presented to our bond counsel, they contacted the Attorney General's office.
That's the Texas Attorney General,
Ken
Paxton's
Paxton's.
office.
Ken
And
Paxton's.
he has a special division that looks at finance for counties,
Right.
basically.
This would, if it would have got to them, we would have presented this agreement to them and say, this is what we're looking for. Will you approve it? And preliminarily, at that point how we were discussing it, that's where the Government Code 381, outside the ownership of the building, prevented us from going any further.
So your bond counsel decided or advised you that
Advised
this
us that,
381 would make the Attorney General reject
Right,
this
yeah.
this financing. Are you looking at helping the rodeo and find a way to get the Coliseum expanded?
There's other avenues that we can go towards that I have not found a good answer to. We've talked about venue districts. That's been talked about through the city before.
So a venue district would be kind of like a hospital district, or
Kind of.
another taxing district.
It would be off of the hotel tax, and you would have to prove that the revenue is beneficial to cover the debt service on that. And this was looked at by the city, I think, in 2020. I don't recall any of that while I was on council. I don't know if it made to us, or it was just
So
briefly.
basically, instead of using the property tax or increasing property
Right.
tax or putting a burden on property tax, you would put the burden instead on hotel occupancy tax, or the hot
Right.
revenues.
Right.
And I don't know if you could fund $40 million off of hot.
Right now, the numbers don't
Don't make
match
it,
up.
yeah.
Don't match up. I think everybody in our community agree that something needs to happen. I have not ran into anybody that says, no, the Coliseum's perfectly fine. Everybody needs more ADA aspects to it, more seating, because every time you try to go, especially rodeo time, when
Well,
you're trying to look for
it's the cent shootout and the short go. You can't get seats for it.
right, or the whole thing. There's been times when you go in to that first week when it opens
Yeah,
up on the
they're all
internet,
sold out.
it's all
Right.
sold out.
Right.
So I think everybody agrees that something needs to happen. We need to expand it. The question is, how do you do it? Who's going to do it? Who's going to hold the bond? Who's going to pay for it? And how's it
it's-
going to be operated?
It's not a whole lot of money we're talking about. I mean, to finance about $35 million or so, it was about $40.
$38 million project. $8 million was going to be raised
By the rodeo.
By the rodeo. So a $30 million bond.
But the bond payment, if you didn't, you just kept the tax rate static, the bond payment would be equivalent to less than $50 per College Hills home.
Right.
Per $200,000.
Per $250,000 home, it was a
Right.
$50 tacked onto your ad valorem tax, your property tax.
Right.
That's kind of the preliminary numbers. Whether that, I've heard, been anywhere between 1.7 cents on the tax rate to 2.5, depending on where
Well,
you're at the moment.
I wonder what the audience thinks. I mean, $50 a year doesn't sound like a whole lot to be able to get this upgraded Coliseum.
Right.
You know, $50 a year. Could you afford that?
Yeah. And we can't, as a county, we cannot advocate for it. What we would have to do is we would have to present this to the voters as, this is your option. This is what we're looking at doing. Do you want to participate in that? And if they vote no, then
Right.
no. If
so
they
you'd
vote
have
yes,
so you have an election and
Right.
people can decide
if
whether
they vote yes, then we would tackle that through our debt service and go forward with the project. But it would have to be, we can't, as a commissioner's court, do anything besides issue the election to say to the citizens,
Here's your option.
Here's your option. Do you want to proceed with it?
All right, let's back up. I want to ask you to put your city hat on for a little
Okay.
bit, because you have some city. I mean, you just came off city council. You're
Right.
S&D 5 councilman. So One of the things that I think bothers a lot of a lot of citizens is they're seeing all this money we're spending. I mean, we've spent, the road improvement, like we got College Hills torn up right now. That's what, 4 tranches of $20 million bonds, CA, certificates of obligation. So we're looking at $80 million spent on that. We don't know how far we are into that, but I would imagine with inflation and cost overruns and things like that, that $80 million did not do what former Mayor Dwayne Morrison was envisioning when he put that in place. I would think they probably have to do another 20 million tranche to finish.
And I
plan.
I haven't seen the numbers, but of course, when that bond issuance was presented, was pre-inflation, pre supply chain issues, where we're going to get it, workload issues, the people that are going to do it,
and then so we have that sitting on us. So that's increasing the debt of the city. And of course, I think that's off the general fund since it's roads. And then we have the sewage project that's going across Lake Nasworthy. That was originally going to be a $30 million project.
Increased.
Now it's $50 million.
Yeah, and that's when we put it out to the voters, since it was the Lake Nasworthy Fund.
Right.
To say, hey, we have this money here. Yeah. Can't remember what year that was. I think it was
2019.
19?
I think so. It was pre-COVID.
It was pre-COVID.
Yeah.
Say, here's the money. This is what we need to do to it. Will you allow us to use that fund?
The council went ahead and voted, and they approved going for that $50 million financing.
And then increasing prices.
And what they'll do is they'll back it up with the wastewater fund.
Right.
So you're looking at $50 million plus maybe another $100 million for the streets. So that's $150 million in debt. And then along comes this Coliseum project that's went from 24 million to 38 million, right? And it's probably going to once it got approved, it'd probably be over 40. So I think people were I'm just giving the other side. They were worried about all this debt that we're taking on. Right. So I think you had a little bit of eye rolling, So it's a tough game to be in as an elected official, I think.
Right.
So anyway, one more thing I want to talk to you about. I was in court today. All right.
Okay.
So by the way, the courtrooms look really good. I mean, it's a brand new courtroom. When you walk in the courtroom, I don't know which number it is, right to your left.
Woodward's.
It was Woodward's courtroom. Very nice. It wasn't like I didn't feel like I went back to the 1930s.
Right.
To go in the courtroom. I didn't have that smell.
Yeah.
It was all new
smell.
All new stuff. Right. And but the hearing, it was for the Funtown RV case, and the hearing was over Zoom. So you had the judge sitting in the bench, and you had a bailiff there. I don't know where everyone else was, but they're on a TV screen.
Right.
And I just felt on the Zoom trials, if I'm an attorney getting paid $500 an hour, I think they ought to show up to court.
Right.
There's
a lot of benefits and negatives to it as well. I think the benefits you may cost save depending on the type of case. But the negative aspect of it is you lose your traditional face-to-face. You get to get all of your senses together of what's going on. You get to see the person.
You don't see the nuances.
You get to see what's on the sidelines.
Right.
What's happening. Expressions.
Right.
The court ruling that came out from the Supreme Court saying that we have to do our court rulings, hold our court in the place of our normal businesses, where we were, pushed trying to get back.
Well, they were just trying to get the judges to go to the courtroom.
Right. So the judge can. The attorneys can be on Zoom.
Yeah, which is I don't like it.
I had my first probate court.
Did you do it over Zoom?
No, I didn't. I did it in person.
Did you see the nuances of what was happening?
We get to see both sides. So
did you decide in favor of the I guess executor of the will?
It was it was a good one to throw into.
Was it vanilla?
Yeah, it was pretty straightforward, which is great for the first time to.
Well, we just started putting the probate notices on our email. If you want to subscribe to it, just go to the homepage of San Angelo Live and you subscribe to our email. We have all these legal notices at the very bottom of it, which is kind of cool. So I've been watching the probate, so you see them go through the obituaries and then they move down the email to the probates.
Right. So I still hold all of my medication hearings, my OPCs, by Zoom. It's more efficient, definitely. I do it from the normal place, so we're in compliance with in the office. The patient sometimes will want to be in on that hearing. Sometimes they won't. They'll waive it. But they've worked out well.
Well, I think Zoom is actually good for pretrial hearings and hearings where really not very much is decided.
Right.
I think we need to keep it that way.
Yeah.
And I also like the fact that the judge is in the courtroom, so it's accessible to the public. So anyone in the public can go into the courtroom and watch. We don't have the judge, in the back room at Blaine's holding court.
Right.
Not that any of them will, but
their place of choice outside of their normal business hours.
Right. I think that's good, and I think we need to keep that Zoom thing going, especially with the jail being so far away from the courthouse. I mean,
it's more efficient. A lot of times, it's way more efficient, and that efficiency is cost savings.
Yeah, they're looking at it like a county judge. It's cost savings. So, how much are taxes going up next year?
Oh, we're in our budget cycle and looking good right now.
You're looking good?
We're looking good.
You haven't overrun anything?
No.
No emergency spending?
Nothing emergency.
Well, it's been...
Haven't burned it down yet, Joe.
You haven't burned it down? Well, Lane Carter, thank you for coming on our show today. And you're welcome back at any time.
I appreciate your time.
All
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.